Welcome back to a new episode of The Spark. I'm your host, Wyatt Frazier, where I dig into business owners and entrepreneurs' brains to figure out how they got to where they are, some lessons they learned along the way, some insights they have for you, the listener. And today is an episode I've been looking forward to for quite a while. I do have a surprise guest, but I'm also here with Riley Edict, Praxie, the owner of Barrier Breakers, Strength and Performance Gym, which is where we're located at right now, as well as Cory, who is the owner of the Pueblo Baseball Mill here in Pueblo, Colorado. So this is a very exciting episode. I love what you guys have going on here. We just got done destroying the back, destroying the arms. It was a good workout. You guys know what you're doing, so the intensity's there and the passion's there the whole time. So I really just want to open up the floor. Cory, I know you have to leave here soon, so I'd like to kind of get started with, I know you were here in this building first, so kind of what was your process of getting into this building and you know, what do you do here?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, man. I started in somebody's backyard, had like one client. That was 2018, 2019, and then figured out that this could kind of be a viable business. So we've just kind of been growing ever since. My first location was actually in Pueblo West, 2019, December 2019, and then COVID closed us down March 2020. So that was a pretty good slap in the face for a young business owner. But yeah, I actually moved to Arizona, try to supplement a little income, and then when COVID chilled out, I was able to get into this building, and this building's actually twice the size of where we started. So it was an upgrade for sure. And we've been in this location for a year and a half now, and it's been unbelievable, man. The community support, and we see hundreds of kids a week, and it's been incredible. It's been a blessing, to say the least.
Yeah. I heard some of the numbers. You guys are upwards of like 500 people running through here in a week, you know, kids. And is that mainly just kids within that age up to 18 that you guys train? Yeah,
a lot of youth guys. Obviously, this is a big youth community, but a lot of high school guys, a lot of college guys, and then some pro guys working out here in the off season too. So eight to whatever, you know. So
right, the full good range of experience.
Full range, yeah, it's been great.
That's awesome. And that's what I picked up on between what you're doing with the baseball mill itself and baseball specific training, and then you guys with Barrier Breakers coming in here for strength and performance. I work out at a regular gym, you know, my 6 days a week. So coming in here where all the workouts are very intentional, they are very cohesive. They go together well, and I could already see how it'd click for somebody coming in here to train for baseball with you, Cory, and then, you know, either before or after coming in to do strength training and build the fundamentals that go into that. It makes sense, and I like that. Yeah, and this is something that you guys have started around the same time as me with this podcast is, branching out off on your own. And, you know, Praxie, if you want to lead that since you have the mic there, and I'll transfer to you, Riley. But how's that process been for you guys of jumping out of that comfort zone and getting into being here in this gym, starting this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really tough decision leaving, you know, where we were at first. You know, we're both GMs. It was easier when we were working together.
A little closer?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
it was easier when we were working together, and, you know, when we split up, we went to different locations, you know, at Bird Dog. It was just tough. Like, you know, we really gelled well together.
Right.
Obviously, we've been best friends since 4th grade. So, you know, not being together was just tough. Yeah. So, you know, when I had told Cory, I said, hey, man, we're missing a gym in here. And, you know, he agreed, and you know, I was like, I think this would really elevate us. And, you know, just the funds for him weren't there, which is understandable. I mean, he's taking care of a big-ass facility right now. So I told him, well, what if we run it? You know, I told him, what if I run it and I have Riley come? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And it was kind of just like a thought in the moment. We didn't really, you know, like, let's plan this out and let's go do it. We just kind of
went for it.
Just a thought. And then I brought it up to him, and he was like, yeah, I'd do it. And so then that's kind of where it sparked, and from there we just started building little by little. I think the first thing we did was take out a loan. You know.
All right, now this is real. Yeah, there we go.
We took out the loan. You know, we're going back and forth with him because, you know, before the gym was in there was a big parent area. You know, That's
Yeah.
where all the parents sit. So we know that was going to be an issue. So we're like, all right, well, we'll just build around it. Like, we were just going to, because there was a big desk, and him and his dad built it. And I was like, that's kind of tough, to take out the entire desk.
Right.
So we'll just build around it. And he was cool with that, so we were cool with that. So the space was even smaller than what we had. And one day he came up to me, he's like, hey, let's just take out the desk. And I was like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's do it.
There you go. And you guys committed to the
From
idea.
there, I
and
was like, all right, let's do it, man. And so then from there, I was like, hey, we got more space. He's pumped up because we had bought most of our equipment by that time. And I was like, hey, we got to get more now. We got to get more. And so from there, we just kept getting more equipment. And still now we're getting more equipment.
There you go. It's always going to be growing.
Yeah, always growing. Yeah, we're trying to, he's had the idea of like, maybe month to month or like maybe every 3 months, just like new equipment comes in, and we want to keep it up to date and as much equipment as we can.
Certainly. And I know that's kind of the expansion route, right? Is taking this core facility and seeing just how far you can get it and getting the name out there, and then kind of growing the idea of what you guys have here, a unified training facility, and expanding that along the way. That'll come, right, as it makes sense and as things fall into place. And I know you were touching on that, Riley. I want to pass the mic to you and kind of just hear from you about your half of getting to here where you are now, and what were some of those hurdles that you had to get through. And I'll speak quickly about some of the mental hurdles of getting to committing to your ideas. And we're close, and I got to see some of that. I think that's worth it. So yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
See it happen.
You want me to hold it?
We're like, this is going to happen, and it happened.
If you want.
I'm going to hold it here. I don't really want to grab the base of the camera, dude. But, like Praxie said, we kind of just dove into it, like, I really honestly didn't really even think about it. Like, I trust Praxie enough, Praxie, he's not going out making hundreds of friends a day, so for him to have the faith in Cory that he did, I mean, I was already pretty invested, I trust the judgment. Met Cory, we made it make sense, like Praxie said, that desk out there, really I had no visual of like what it would have been, but now I look at it, I look at what me and Praxie have built, like what we put together, and it's just like, it belongs there. Like, this was meant to happen the whole time, I believe. And, the new squat rack, which thank you, Dix and Pueblo, by the way. That's brand new. It looks great, matches the color scheme. I mean, we got the black and red going. I mean, it's just, these are little ideas that I think Praxie and I are going to turn into a huge franchise, Like, black and red is just a color scheme, but that black and red might be nationwide one day, So it's exciting.
I believe it.
Yeah. And like he said, it's scary leaving Bird Dog. I have no idea why. But it's just, it's what you knew. You don't really believe in yourself until you have to. And now I believe we have to believe in ourselves. So, feels good.
Absolutely.
I trust everybody now.
Oh, that's solid. And exactly what you said there at the end. You have to believe in yourself, right? There's a moment where you have to go like, all right, I know in my life there was multiple times where I would have conversations with people and it was, dude, why aren't you doing more? Like, I know you can do more. I see it, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see it, though, and that's, like, the biggest missing piece. And I kind of want to talk to you, Cory. Was that something that you had to overcome, like, in the beginning? What was your progression of going from, maybe the traditional route of, like, picking up what most people do for work, and then, obviously you have quite a portfolio and history to you. I'd like to tap into that, how you got there.
I would just say that I could never see myself sitting at a desk or, I would consider myself an extremely hard worker, and I was a terrible employee because of that. I was showing up to work, and I've worked at other places, and I'm outworking the manager, or I'm outworking the boss, and then I didn't really respect, I just wasn't a good, I was a terrible employee. So I figured, well, why not just head up my own operation and, my sick, obsessive work ethic, I can just I can lead the charge instead of, it always felt like I was doing too much, and then I got a lot of kickback from the people that I worked for. Plus, I just didn't have any passion for anything else other than this. So originally for me, it was baseball, right? Like I was a collegiate athlete. Baseball is what I did my whole life. So when starting a business, I'm just going to do something baseball related. But now it is grown into something that I never thought it would grow into. We have a training bat now, and now I'm able to pay it forward and kind of mentor these two guys on business stuff, So it's just crazy. I would say that as far as my journey getting started, you just have to start, Right. It's a really good piece of advice. Like whatever hangups you have or whatever anxiety you have, just start. Because if you don't start, you're never gonna end up where you want to be. And I think that was kind of my message to these two is we had an idea. They had an idea. Hey, we want to put a gym in here. And it was just a very quick conversation. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. Like, let's not think about it. Let's do it. Yeah. And I think that's the best way to go about it when you're starting a business,
Right. Yeah. You have to get past, like we touched on, that self-belief factor and for a second kind of jump into the murky waters and things will separate and kind of figure itself out, right? That's the testament I've heard from many, many people and what I'm having to find myself, throughout the process. So.
And I think what I told them right away too is like, you're going to be stressed.
Yeah.
Like you have a day job, you're working a salary job. Like what would you rather be stressed about? Your day job that's never going to pay you any more money or you want to be stressed about your business that could potentially change your life,
Right.
And I think that flipped the switch in their head. It's like, okay, I'm going to have stress either way, but let's pursue my passion. That's good stress instead of showing up to a dead end job that you don't really even want to be there, So
right, and that weighs on you over time. Right?
Oh yeah.
So in the beginning, that motivation's there, but as you peek through the door, you see that there's really not much left or more to it, and at that point, that's when you have to start looking at new ideas. That's where you guys touched on your synergy between the two of you. It makes sense that you both were able to combine that and spearhead this idea. I'm sitting here in front of a perfect trio. And Cory, you got to sign out.
No,
Thank you for joining.
Right.
Oh, okay.
He's just gotta let someone in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, like I was saying, it makes sense now, to see you two doing this together because you can feel it in the room. Like I'm sitting here with you two, and I'm like, yeah, like obviously you guys would be good business partners together. And I love that, And really, I guess my question about that is like, what do you guys run into now? Because I have, I know other people that are like best buds that are trying to get into business together, or maybe are, but I think that's something that a lot of viewers can relate to is like that best bud that they have an idea together. What have been some of like the growing pains of that process of going from just buddies to like, all right, let's get serious about an idea and kind of separate emotion and like maybe some more factual decisions you have to make, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're pretty lucky, the two of us, because this business won't run with just me, right? Like, I'm lucky enough to be the pitching coach here at the baseball mill, and run this business. But with this business, I can't train kids. Like, I don't know how to train kids. That's what he's gonna do, is train the kids. So, without him, I can't do it. Now, what I bring to the table is just the business side of things. I went to school for business, so I'm trying to make everything as smooth as I can for him, because I know him leaving his job, it's a big deal. So I want to make him as much money as I can, and I think that's kind of what helped us bring this whole thing together.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, like I went into this like thinking I was going to be the man, and through that, I felt like I was losing a connection with Praxie sometimes because I was, me. And then I saw what he truly brought to this. And like he said, I mean, I wouldn't be here without him, like not even remotely close. Like the website, forget about it. The Instagram, forget about it. The ins and outs, forget about it. So like it just shows how like if you two can meet in the middle and just like drop the egos, like you can go anywhere. And now that's how I feel that way with Cory too. Having that third person is nice. I feel that with you. Like the people in my circle now, I feel that with a little bit. Obviously not to the extent of Praxie and I, because it has been, pretty much my entire life. But, just the other day, I mean, he jumped on me and I needed it. Like he knew right when. Like I was right at a breaking point. He felt it, jumped in my face, man. Not going to go into detail, doesn't matter. But like regardless, like that was the most embarrassing moment of my life, dude. That was worse than my dad yelling at me. And now, since then, this has been the best, 4-day stretch I've honestly ever had mentally. So it's just cool, man. Like everything just falls right where it needs to be. Like you can't make it up. I can sit here and talk about it all day. It just won't really make sense. Right. You'd have to actually go do it.
Right. No, that makes sense. and those are the relationships that, I have a few of those, right? The people that are willing to, like, you have a lot of people around you, but how many are willing to say, like, dude, you're fucking up right now, or, like, get it straight. And those are the people I value most in my life, even though those conversations might be kind of rough and they sting. But at the end of the day, I've always left them going like that, thank you for that, because that's hard to find. Like, that's the rarest thing to find in people. So, again, that makes sense that you guys have that, and like I said, you feel it, which is awesome to hear. And, I guess that leads me into another point, which is, with Cory, because I know you're on a little bit more of a time frame. I want to ask you a few things, but, were there any points where you, because I think I heard you played, was it pro ball you played prior to this?
Yeah, so I played college baseball. I got drafted, but I never ended up playing pro ball. So
okay,
yeah, just played college baseball. Got drafted a couple times, but okay. Yeah, decent amount of experience. But,
no, right, and that's that's levels above where a lot of people make it. So that's
for sure.
That's very impressive
for sure.
But my question leading into that is, when you're on a team like that and you're making relationships with your teammates, I know that things can get pressured and bullied. Was there ever a point where you had, like, as you were dipping into the business side of baseball and you had your teammates there, was there temptation to get involved, like, in business together? And what was your instincts on knowing who and who wasn't? Maybe, I don't know if you do have business partners from that part of your life, but
a really good piece of advice that I was given is there's people that you're friends with, and you keep those people at an arm's length, and you can go hang out with them socially and do whatever you want to do, right? Those are people that you're friends with. And then there's people that you go into business with, and those are the people that you love and that you trust. And so, I was given that piece of advice really early on in my business career. And with that being said, this whole Pueblo Baseball Mill thing, I didn't have any business partners. There was a lot of people that approached me, but I feel like those people are just friends in my life. I don't feel like they're people that I want to go into business with. So for me, it's just deciding, okay, is this person's lifestyle, is everything that epitomizes this person, is that somebody that I could see myself going into business with? And for most people in my life, it was no, not that I have bad friends or whatever, but I feel like I have a different goal and I have different passions. I don't want this to just be Pueblo good. I don't want this to just be Colorado good. I want to make the baseball mill a worldwide name. And so for me, right now anyway, or early on in my business career, there wasn't anybody that I felt like I could go into business with. Now, with that being said, we have a physical location, the Pueblo Baseball Mill. We have an online presence that's called The Baseball Mill, which is going to be essentially all of our knowledge, thrown into an online platform. We also have a 501 nonprofit called the Baseball Mill Foundation. My brother's going to head up that operation, which, trust him with my life, obviously. We own a training bat called the Split Grip Trainer, which I'm a 50% owner in. Trevor Goldberg, who owns Berg Bat, is the other 50% owner. And then now doing this barrier breaker stuff. I'm not an owner in this business by any means, but with these guys being under the same roof as me. So essentially it's like I looked at my brother. I'm like, I trust this guy with my life. So he's going to run my 501, my nonprofit. And then I look at Trevor Goldberg, and it's like, known this guy for 12 years, and he makes a damn good product, and he's a really hardworking businessman himself. Like, he's somebody I could see myself going into business with. And then, Riley, I don't know Riley as much, but Praxie came into my life when I needed him most. I had 2 employees. One of them is going to go back to play college to finish his senior year, and then the other one quit. So it was just me by myself, and he came into my life at the perfect time, and literally I would not have been able to survive the last 3-4 months without, him being the backbone of this facility. Not only bringing in new clientele, but, holding this place down when I was sick or when I was gone, had to go do other things. And so when he came to me and was like, hey, Riley's my best friend, and we're going to do this thing together, I respect him immensely. So it was an easy decision for Riley to get involved as well. So year 1, Cory Voss, no business partners. Nobody's. Right. I'm doing this all on my own, man. Self-made, whatever. And then now here we are, year 4, going into year 5, and it's like there's a crew of us. There's 5, 6 dudes that are, and we have like these 5, 6 things going on, and we're just going to try to build this empire. You know, you are who you surround yourself with.
Right.
And I think that's what all great leaders do, is they surround themselves with great people. And I think I've done that, you know, so.
No, that's solid. And the wisdom flows through those words. I could feel the experience that you have from all that. And I respect it because, again, like you said, as we've said multiple times throughout this conversation so far, you know, things unfold in a way that you can't really predict. And, you know, I forget the exact quote, but it goes along the lines of, once you know everything about a decision, it's probably too late to make it.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to be able to make that with a little bit of, you know, trust in the process and knowing that you're not going to know how it's all going to unfold and play out in the end, whether that be having the right business partners come along and if you're even going to find them, or, you know, if you're going to, who knew if you were going to come to this building. Right. So that's something that I love hearing. And I've seen repeated across the people I've talked to, is that they didn't see where they were going to be in 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or they had an idea, but it shifted many times, and being able to pivot.
I would also say that our baseball background, like Praxie and I specifically, you fail more than you succeed in baseball. So if I have 10 at-bats, I'm going to fail 7 times. So for me, it's a lot easier for me to jump in to the business, to the entrepreneurial world, because I'm okay with failing and I've learned how to fail. And I actually allow it to slingshot me in the right direction, where maybe somebody that didn't play baseball, or they were playing a different sport, or they grew up doing something else, it's like they're so afraid of failure. They're so afraid to jump in. So they toe the water and they never end up like fully committing to their
Right.
dreams. And so I think, you know, surrounding myself with other baseball people, it was a really easy decision, because I know that my same fearlessness is going to be reflected in this guy too, you know? So.
Right. No, that makes sense. And the way those life lessons transfer over, like you said, whether it be baseball or football, you know, sports obviously have a major impact on your mental like on the way you go through life.
Yeah.
A lot of my best friends are wrestlers, and it wasn't even an attraction to me until later on in life to become a wrestler. At the point where it really didn't make sense anymore in like high school, my senior year, I was like, I'm not going to get in now. But it was at that point in my life I realized just how, you know, impactful that can be in all elements of life outside of just knowing how to wrestle, right? And so, no, 100%, that makes sense, especially with baseball and batting out. That's a great way to put that. Yeah. But I want to go into some of the future plans and more of some of the specifics of what Barrier Breaker's strength performance is, because, you know, people have heard of Flex, they've heard of Crunch, the Villa Sport, like, you know, people local to Colorado, whatever your gym is. How would you two say what you're doing separates yourself from the rest of the market as far as what gyms are doing, and how you feel you can offer something new, or, as you explained earlier, maybe something that's not necessarily new, but original?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea, like, behind business is you're trying to, like, as an entrepreneur, you're trying to solve a problem. So I thought the problem with gyms is, like, all these people are paying $15, $20. They go into the gym and, you know, they never know who's lifting. I would say when I first got back, I had a membership at Crunch. I lifted at 3, 4, whenever I got off. As soon as I went to the gym, it was packed. Like, it was always packed. Some days it wasn't, some days it was. And so I just never knew. I feel like here we wanted to solve that problem. So by solving that, we have the 3 different memberships. So the lowest membership, you'll come in, it's all open gym. Riley won't be training during those hours. Well, you can one-on-one if there's, you know, space. But every hour we cap it out with 12 people. So no more than 12 people will be in here per an hour. So you'll be able to see that as a member, like who's in the gym and who's not. So I think that kind of separates us. Yeah, it separates us from all the other gyms, because no one else is doing that. They are charging probably around the same prices as us, but you're going to go in there and same thing. You don't know who's in there. I don't think you can get a trainer like this for the price that we're giving. It's going to come with a personalized workout. You have the option to get nutrition plan as well. I think all these other gyms around us, they might offer the workouts, but I don't think they're going to offer the same nutrition plans that we're going to have. And I've abided by them even when I was in college last year. That's one thing I told Cory. I was, bringing him in. I was like, dude, if I didn't have Rye last year, I don't know if I have the season that I have, because I played for the longest time of my life from February all the way to August. I've never done that before. My body was so prepared because I ate well and I lifted good. So I think if kids can come in and kind of believe in that, that'll elevate them and elevate us as well.
Right. Yeah. And where his frustration is a gym member, he sees the business side. My frustration was with gym culture and everybody just all the new fads, every 2-3 weeks, the way people are dressing, the way people are training, the way people are eating, what music's popular at that time. It only lasts 2 to 3 weeks. It's insane to me. So I figured, why not take a little bit of everything and create it as one? I'm not training, bodybuilding. I'm not training athletes. It's all just one size fits all, You're limiting yourself athletically, and a lot of trainers don't see that. They assume everybody is the same level of athletic. It's not. Cory and Praxie, both college athletes, couldn't be any different. You have to acknowledge that. That frustrated me. So for Praxie to have this idea of somewhere you can go that's private, and then for me to have the idea, wow, it's private, I can actually kind of make it something I want it to, and mainly just the culture. Like I said, there's no judging here, there's no egos, no one cares who's wearing what here. It's literally just about, the fundamentals of it, which is to get bigger, stronger, faster, and we can just hammer that home now to people who want to be here. It's perfect. It's perfect.
No, and I can definitely give testament to those listening that the workout this morning was it was great. That energy you just don't find in a public gym. Like you explained, you see people, whether it's just their warm up or really even their whole workout, are kind of moseying through the motions or not really connecting to what they're doing. And there's some people that are like, I educate myself, I know what I'm doing, but it's more so the environment of why are you doing it? Why? Okay, you did your 4 sets of squats, blah, 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 but were you really explosive with it? How does that transfer into your day-to-day life? In this aspect, that transfers into baseball. And we were touching on, being able to have a kid go straight from strength training and be like, all right, you activated your glutes in there and now do it here, and have that transfer. I think that's huge and something that, honestly, I haven't really seen a lot of trainers, not to say I know a lot, but from the trainers I've met, I don't necessarily see them doing that, of personalizing the training to exactly what their lifestyle is, or how to better implicate it into having a better lifestyle, which I think is huge. And your knowledge on the ability to maximize your performance in each muscle group and really being able to articulate why something is doing what it is what I think makes you special, which is why when you told me you were getting into this, I was like, it makes perfect sense because of all the days we were at Bird Dog, and it was you were giving me a 30-minute rundown on how to do your lats, you know what I mean? And I'm like, shit, I never even thought about it like that. That's you're so right. And that comes to you secondhand. I can see a switch flip, and you're just on fire, and I love that. That's passion, and that transfers into it. Whether you're talking about it right now, or when we were out there, and I was dying doing those hex bar squats. But yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, and that's the kind of thing that I think more people need when they're in the gym, are people that are passionate and actually knowing what the hell they're talking about. Yeah. So I think that is what I will vouch for in the future of why this place is, levels ahead of the competition here locally and someday across the states, as I see it going. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I kind of want to touch into that, like we said, we talked about expanding or whatever, but I'd kind of like to hear if you have any ideas you haven't shared yet about how you want to expand what you have here, as far as, whether that be more products or merchandise or maybe some plans. I think you guys have great brains on the fitness industry, sports industry, and, maybe some ideas there, some creativity that you have flowing.
So I just feel especially from a business standpoint, my business, the Pueblo Baseball Mill, we're maxed out. So somebody calls me, hey, we want to get in, and it's just we don't have enough space. We don't have enough cages. We don't have enough. And then if I was to expand into a different building, there's so much more overhead, so much more upfront cost. And So for me, it was a very easy transition to shift my business to online, because you're looking for something that doesn't have a lot of overhead that can make a lot of profit, right? So for us to get into this building, it could be, thousands and thousands of dollars, but for you to get into the online world, it's going to cost some money, right? But the profit margins are so much better online.
Right.
So for me personally, I think that's kind of where the direction of my business is going. And I think that's why I'm so excited to have these two as well, because there's moms and dads across the country that are getting on YouTube every single night. How to help my son with this, how to help my daughter with this, what drill should I do for this? And most of the content that's online is wrong. It's bad content, both on the baseball, softball side of things, and on the fitness in the fitness industry too. And so I think the barrier breaker stuff and the baseball mill stuff is going to go hand in hand so well, because we're going to have a bunch of baseball content, drills and practice plans and things like that coaches and athletes can grab onto. But I think my big message online is going to be, these drills can help your swing. This practice plan is going to make you a better coach. But if you want to take your game to the next level, you need to get your butt in the weight room. I will stick by this till the day I die. The weight room will change your career. I'm 5'8" on a good day. I fell in love with the gym early on in my career, and I was able to start driving the baseball, and I turned my singles into doubles, and I turned my doubles into home runs. So I think that's what I'm most excited about is you need the drills, you need the mechanics, but you also need the stuff that these two are going to provide. So I think that's how we're going to take the baseball mill and barrier breakers and make it a household name, is when people are looking for trusted content on the internet, they're going to want to go to us.
Right. So. Really, it's, and it sounds like the perfect formula for building out a culture around like actual meaningful performance training, which I do think is lacking right now. Like you touched on, it's a whole lot of fatty stuff, and a lot of people trying to, as we said, reinvent the wheel, when it's like, how can you better use the wheel that we all know works, right? And I think getting that message across to people and understanding the unison of the two is huge. There's a lot of upside there as far as how you can push that into different venues, and whether that be your online presence or then doing expos and stuff like that. I think I see that in the future. That's exciting. I mean, Praxie, you look like you had a thought maybe.
Oh no, I was just gonna say how we were gonna expand.
Yeah.
I mean, our hope's obviously
more gyms.
This space is small, so our hope is to get it bigger. There's another side to this building, so hopefully all three of us can expand everything. Not just the weight room, but the baseball side of things too, and that becomes the space that he says he's missing and the space that we're missing.
Right. No,
I know what we really want to get into is merchandise. You guys have some shirts on. Yep. We got my shirt on.
Accidentally matched, but we're going with it. We love it.
Before the gym actually became like a physical thought and idea that we could do, he designed this brand, and he sent it to me one day, just all random. This was probably back in October. Yeah. It was a while ago. It was a while ago. He just came up with a name, and I was like, dude, that's badass. I really like that. And then he added strength and performance. I was like, all right, that's perfect. I was like, that's what we need right there. So before any of this came about, we already had the name, and his girlfriend Leah drew up the design. Shout out Leah. Drew up the design.
Yeah.
And the design was cool. I mean, it was perfect. It was everything we wanted. So merchandise was big. We started just designing shirts. I think we have over 100 designs right now that we haven't even we just kind of left them alone for a while. We just kind of hammered this out. And
right.
I think now that we have this, I really want to expand into that because it's something he really enjoys. I don't mind doing it either. I like enjoying shirts or designing the shirts. So now that we have something to back it up with, we have an actual gym, and we can create content that's going to back up the brand now. Because before it was just we wanted to get the shirts out, and we had the idea of buying 300 shirts or whatever, and then I was like, hey, you know what? It might flop just because no one knows us.
Right, you got to put a face to the name to a sense,
so
right?
Now people are going to recognize us and know us, and if they're walking around Pueblo with these shirts on, and obviously Springs, wherever,
So, like, my initial idea was to avoid the bank at all costs with this. And I thought I was like, I thought I had cool enough ideas to make enough T-shirts to sell enough to basically fund all of this. I didn't even have enough money to fund the T-shirts. So I was like, well, I actually went nowhere with that. So we went from a whole idea with it to the loan to now we have the gym. But now, in hindsight, all those designs that Praxie hinted at, like now we have those just sitting there. And it's almost like, a whole other business. Like as soon as those come out, that's a whole nother thing. So that's expansion in itself. Just like that, one T-shirt per state, that's expansion. That's something. And it's that easy. Praxie's got one. We did one with Cory. We got them. They're all over the place, just like locally. But it's just funny how that became like my focus. I didn't even care really about the gym itself. I couldn't even wrap my head around it. But the shirts were fun and easy, and I could do them baked. So it was perfect. But this, and then here we are. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's so crazy.
I think to add on to the expansion would be another problem that we can solve is, athletes taking the wrong supplements. I don't think they're taking the correct supplements to get stronger, to get, where they want to be. And I think that's something Riley can really do is.
Do you mean getting into like maybe creating your own brand within them, or more so
not so much
giving knowledge of how to use them?
One day that could be. That'd be pretty cool.
Right. It's possible. It's out there.
That's like everyone's dream.
It's out
like
there,
own a gym. But I think more specifically, like you could get in trouble taking the wrong supplements or whatever, and I think we'll be able to offer the highest, performing supplements, whether that be on our website or whether that we sell that in here. I know that's
do both.
I know that's the direction we do both for sure. Yeah, no, that's the direction we want to go. Like probably very soon is that direction too. Besides merchandise.
Yeah, I look forward to that. No, because that does seem like the logical step in getting into the fitness industry is kind of how can you supplement your own advice really, and. That makes sense. That sounds like the natural trajectory to take that. Man, I don't know. I feel like the last 40 minutes have flown by. This is great because I love the energy because I know this is new.
Like, this is going quick.
Yeah, right. I mean, really, you guys have answered a lot of my questions here today, but I know there's more underneath the cover. Is there anything you guys have come into this situation wanting to talk about? I'm a little curious. Maybe not. I'm just throwing that out there. Let your brain run a little bit if you'd like to. Cory, Praxie.
I think just the memberships, man, like to hammer the memberships out. Like I think people are going to see the price because the prices are $40 for the open gym, $60 for the silver. Oh, excuse me, jeez. $75 for the gold. And I think people are going to see those and it might scare them. But like I said, you're getting more than just coming in here to lift.
Right. Well, I mean, let's break down. So, like, as you get into your bronze membership, you said it's $40 a month, right?
Yep, $40 a month.
$40 a month it lets you get inside the gym, right? Yep. You can do your open training. That doesn't include personal training.
That doesn't include personal.
Personal training. For $20 more, you get experience with somebody that's highly knowledgeable, that knows what they're talking about, is passionate about it, and can give you advice 100%. Specifically to your body type.
Not only that, build a really good environment. I think
that's a solid deal.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. That's a solid deal. It's personalized training for $20 more. You compare that to most gyms. I mean, really, if you compare it to discounted gyms, then the gym's not well kept, right? You have a bunch of really unmotivated people in there usually. Yeah. Usually, I don't mean to make that too broad, but you know what you're getting when you come here. Right, and then that last package, you said it was 70.
75. Yeah,
75.
That'll add the nutrition plan.
So for $15 more, now you have
more, but
right. Then you have advice on how to act and how to train yourself outside of the gym. Right, and that's at a discounted price from a lot of regular gyms that don't offer those things. So
exactly,
that makes sense.
It could be more, but like I said, I think the goal is to get as many people as we can in here right now and kind of get to his situation, max this thing out, and then we have an issue. Like
that's not the worst problem to have. Yeah,
that's a good issue to have. Right. Like he talks about his issue, that's a good issue. And I'm sure that is stressful. It is stressful, but I think it's a great issue to have. But the memberships, man, I mean, they're really worth it.
They don't sound that bad to me, and I don't feel like most people, if they really got a taste of the environment, would complain. Like I really don't think they would once they understood what they're paying for. So no, those are solid. And that brings me to a question with you, Cory, about how have you gone about building out Is this annual, monthly? Is this like by session with the baseball mill? Just kind of touching on the whole facility and how it operates.
So on like an individual basis, it's month to month. So people that come in for a different type of group training or lessons, right? That's month to month. We also have teams that come in here, and I just encourage the teams that, it should be like a 4 to 6 month commitment. Just because this is baseball is a skill game. So it takes a long time to build skill. No offense to football or basketball, but you could just be bigger than somebody else and run somebody over in football, and there's not a whole lot of skill involved. Same thing with basketball. You could be faster, taller, whatever, right? But baseball, you have to put in the hours to move the right way.
Right.
So our prices are a little bit more expensive, right, on the Pueblo baseball mill side of things. But I think it attracts the right clients as well.
That's very true.
I don't want people – I got people calling me all the time, hey, can we come in and use your batting cages? No, I'm not batting cages. We are a professional private training facility, and I want to work with kids that want to work. Like if you are stepping into this building, you're telling me that you want to play collegiate baseball or softball. And I'm extremely hard on these kids. I think it reflects physically in the building. Like everything's put back where it belongs. Like the place is spotless. Like you wouldn't know if you came in here, you'd be like, geez, nobody uses this facility. Like it's really clean, but it's the culture. It goes back to the culture and the environment. There's a lot of Mickey Mouse, Chuck E. Cheese, rec league things going on across the country, specifically here in Pueblo. Like
right.
When I was in high school, there was nothing but rec league, Mickey Mouse BS going on here in town. And so I had to drive to Denver to get a professional badass facility. So I was like, why don't I bring a badass facility to Pueblo and then just bring in all these really blue collar gritty kids and teach them like how to do things. And it's just been wildly successful. And like I said, it just humbles me the amount of kids that want to come in here. And so from a price point perspective, like, yeah, of course, people bitch at me all the time about our prices, but it's like, well, you get what you pay for.
Right.
And I think the same goes for these guys. Like, I don't think their price point is high at all.
Pretty fair.
But I think they're going to get the right clientele. And you're going to know right away. You're going to step foot in this gym, and you're going to be like, oh, geez, like this ain't for me, and that's a good thing because they're going to get the right clientele. And I think it's going to be a nice transition. A lot of the guys that work out at my facility here, they've already seen the gym, and they're like, man, like we can have this same environment and culture, but now in a gym, like, yes, we want to be in that, and again, it's people aren't coming in here for the equipment, like the equipment's nice, like whatever. It's great. The place looks great, but people are going to step foot in this gym because of Riley, because of Praxie, and because of what they offer. Yeah. I've been in the gym since I was a freshman in high school. I've been working out every year since I was a freshman in high school. I'm 27 now, and Riley showed me things today that I've never even thought about. And so for me, I played Division I baseball, like all these things, and Riley showed me things today that I'm going to be hurting tomorrow. Like
yeah, same. That makes two.
And so for me, it's like I'm going to vouch for barrier breakers because I've been lifting my whole life, and this guy's incredibly. I've been around some of the best specialists in the industry, and I learned something today, and that's invaluable.
Yeah.
So.
No, I can attest to that as well. Like I said, yeah, it transfers the passion, the knowledge. It all transfers through. Yeah. That's true. And like you said, the whole mentality here, I think, radiates as far as, you step in here and, some people may be like, oh, it doesn't have the Planet Fitness vibe or whatever, right? There's no Taylor Swift in the background. What's going on, right? But like you said, in the beginning, a lot of businesses make the mistake of wanting to cut their prices and therefore to gain more clientele. But if you're willing to be patient with the idea and charge what you're worth, then the right people are going to be gravitated towards that. At that point, it's then proving what you say, right? So I don't see any issue for any of you guys being able to do that based off my experience here today. It's been great. And with that, I want to say, again, thank you guys for having me, doing this show and sitting down. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. I know you have a session coming up here soon, so I like what we've hit on. I want to throw it out there. If you have anything else you'd like to put out to the world, doors open. But I also like to try and keep these episodes from being too rambly. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. Get in there.
Thank you for being here, Wyatt.
Yes, of course, man. Of course. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys, a lot.
man.
Of course.
This is a cool opportunity for you to expose us and get our name out there.
Yes, I'll be pushing it.
Hopefully we can take you with us.
Yes, absolutely. That's the whole plan. I want to get around people that are, motivated and doing the right things and have the right mindset. And if I can learn from the whole experience while also learning from the macro experience, then it benefits everybody, right? So, again,
Sorry. And I bet your videographer doesn't get his ass kicked like that before he does a podcast with you.
Right.
This dude goes through it with you, I promise.
Yes, thank you.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I thought that was cool. You came in and experienced the business, And I think that's what's going to separate you from other people. It's if you go do that to other business, hey, how do I get involved? And then you have something to talk about. And
Thank you.
Different environment. Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, right, yeah.
I think we got to get you some swings now.
Yeah, my session's with you, right? Right after this.
Shit, all right, here we go. You're going to mess up my golf swing, man. I don't know about that.
We can't do that. We got to protect the golf swing.
Yeah, right. There we go. Awesome, guys. Well, yeah, again, huge thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today, pulled something out. If you're local to Colorado, if you're into baseball or you are interested in strength training, then these are you guys to talk to. I will be putting their socials down below. So if you're interested in reaching out, if you just want to follow and see what they're doing as they grow, that'll all be there for you. So make sure to give them all a follow. They have great minds. They're super passionate about what they do, and I guarantee you'll enjoy what they put out. So thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you guys again for being here. And with that, we'll call it a wraps.